I'm going to look at Tupperware and the background to Tupperware. Okay. But what I want to show you is a very short clip, less than a minute. There was this clip from The Graduate. Do you remember the film with Dustin
Hoffman, yeah,
and Anne Bancroft, and she was Mrs. Robinson?
She was, yeah.
Well, this clip is of her husband, Mr. Robinson, at the party that he goes to, taking the graduate, Dustin Hoffman, to one side.
I meant with your future, your life.
Well, that's a little hard to say.
Ben.
Excuse me. Mr. McGuire.
Ben.
Mr. McGuire.
Come with me for a minute. I want to talk to you. Excuse us, Joanne.
Of course.
Thank you.
Oh, he is
It's just incredible. I look at him and I can't believe it. I simply can't believe it.
I just want to say one word to you. Just one word.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Plastics.
Exactly how do you mean?
There's a great future in plastics. Think about it. Will you think about it?
Yes, I will.
Enough said. That's a deal.
Here he is now.
I've had a long interest in Tupperware, but this is the current UK offer on Tupperware, which is £40 for a 3-piece starter kit of plastic containers.
Good grief.
Well, exactly. And look, it's reduced from £62 and 7p. So you should pay for
my.
it.
I think it's still expensive.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So you can see one of the reasons why it's not necessarily very popular. Now, this is the sort of one that I get. If you
Me.
the pack size of 100, I can get 100 for £20.98p. Bit of a difference there, isn't there?
Big difference.
And they're all food safe and whatever now as well when you get them. And this is me with my containers.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I won't say I'm obsessed by plastic containers, but what I find is if you put a bit of work into food in advance, you can keep it fresher longer. So if you look on the left, I've got there my apples, and all the apples that we get from our apple trees and from my son's apple trees, I just lightly boil very, very lightly so that they last, chopped up, and then put them in boxes when they cool down and have them right through the winter. And
Well
then
done.
about this time of the year, I've run out of them, so I'm just using ordinary apples, which I then do the same with. Then the frozen raspberries, which you can get, which is the next one along, and orange, which I get oranges, and then I peel them and chop them up and put them in a plastic container, and they last for ages like that, and they're very, very, very tasty. Then there's another one of the apples, and then there's the one on the right-hand side, which is strawberries, which I also chop up and put into to this. And when the grandkids come round, they love it because I bring them all out, whichever ones I've got. They're also, various other ones I get as well. Open them all up and ask them what ones they want for their pudding. So it goes down really well.
Okay, when I used to do apples, the trick is for me is just cut the apples up, but put them in the microwave. Don't add any water. Don't add water to the boiling. Just microwave the apples, and
They don't go brown.
The flavour is much more intense, and they don't go brown.
Tupperware was invented in 1946, just before I was born, and you, Jackie.
Yeah.
And he's an interesting guy. He was a serial inventor of various things. And because of the mid-century advances in plastics technology, he patented the first airtight plastic food storage container. He was born in Germany, which I was surprised about, in 1907. I've got no knowledge as to how he got over to America or when, but he became an American citizen. He started his company in 1942, sold the business in 1958, and moved to Costa Rica in 1973. where he became a Costa Rican citizen and died there in 1983. So that's Earl Tupper, the curious world of Earl Tupper, who's left his name to posterity, really. There it was. There's his obituary. Died of a heart attack in Costa Rica, where he lived for 10 years. That's his background to him. He also established a philanthropic institution in 1954, supporting many medical and educational products. Well, did all right for himself, didn't he?
Mm.
This, of course, is the famous Tupperware parties. Everyone benefits at a Tupperware party. They've really been a staple of American culture, and they're not quite as popular over here, but fairly. Has anybody, either themselves or had a relative or a parent or grandparent, who went to a Tupperware party?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. What, you've been to one?
Oh, well, I lived in a fairly small group of terraced houses. Everybody was very close. And yeah, and we just got this invite. And normally you wouldn't go in anybody else's house, but it was quite novel. And there'd be the lady that had brought all the equipment and had them spread out and give you a little demonstration. And then you could order anything you fancied. And she showed you how to burp the lid, which was very important.
Oh, yes, they called it the Tupperware burp, which is when you knew it's going to be airtight.
You put your thumb in the middle and you press it down, and then just lift the side a little bit so it goes psst, and then you put it back down and it's airtight.
Well, isn't that amazing? And a lot of the women had jobs during the war, and when the men came back, they were expected to go back into the home, and they wanted some sort of work. So this was one of the first of these type of direct selling attempts, which have now still been used for all sorts of other things as well. But you'd have the actual host, the people are invited, and the person who was the dealer. They called him the dealer, the one who had a series of Tupperware users who became hostesses, I suppose, hosts. And they organised it for them, getting all the products in. And of course, if you're invited round for a cup of tea and a piece of cake, then well, you're not going to go away without buying something, are you? This is a very short, less than 1 minute video that I did on it.
By using storage containers, enter Tupperware, the game changer in food storage. Earl Tupper used the advances in plastic technology to create and market the world's first range of airtight food containers. Tupperware kept leftovers fresher for longer. In the 1950s, Tupperware's sales skyrocketed, thanks in large part to the women who had been displaced from their wartime jobs by returning servicemen. These women found a new source of income in hosting Tupperware parties, selling the food containers to their friends and neighbors in the comfort of their own homes. However, this once dominant brand now teeters on the brink of bankruptcy. Why? Tupperware has been slow to adapt to changing consumer needs. Its products, while effective, carry a hefty price tag. Moreover, the direct sales model it employs has fallen out of favor, and it still staggers on. It looks like it will soon go out of business.
The person who was most responsible for this was somebody called Brownie Wise, a divorced woman from Michigan who began selling the stuff to friends and neighbours she invited to her home. This is in the 1950s. Her success caught the attention of Tupperware and then of women across America who'd gotten a taste for working during World War II, but had been pushed back into the home. So many began selling the food containers to their friends and neighbours in the living room showcases that became the Tupperware parties. So in a way, a kitchen full of Tupperware products became a symbol of social and domestic success. And some women tried to match their kitchen decor to the colours of the Tupperware that they got, which is very chic in 1960s terms, at least. I suppose it was two things. You earned a little bit of kudos from it and some stuff that Tupperware gave you. And if you became an organizer, you earned actual money by doing it, by organizing them. So it was a mixture of things, wasn't it? But they've definitely, I think, gone out of fashion. This is when you become a Tupperware dealer. You can earn as much as you want. You earn while you learn. You're an independent business person. You're your own boss. You demonstrate at home presentations. And so somebody can just offer their home, and just as well as being the hostess where she's providing the cake and whatever, it's the dealer who does the talking. You become part of the fastest growing company of its kind, international leader in its field, featuring the popular Tupperware home presentation plan, the modern way to shop and save. This is one of the photographs taken about that. Parties are the answer. Well, maybe they are indeed. This is one of the old adverts.
Tupperware.
Oh, it's not loud, really.
Airtight plastic containers that keep good foods fresher, longer. Here's how. Put in the food, put on the patented Tupperware seal, then press down the center of the seal and lift a little at one side. Hear that whisper? That's Tupperware's airtight promise to keep foods flavor fresh. Tupperware comes in all shapes, all sizes. You can freeze it, stack it, any which way. It won't leak or spill. Tupperware keeps aroma and flavor locked in. And because you can see what's inside, no more forgotten leftovers, just good, fresh planovers. The one way to buy Tupperware is a fun way. At a Tupperware home party, where you can see it demonstrated and order the Tupperware you need in fresh sun, sea, and sky colors.
See, that shows how in recent years its popularity has gone down. It was clear by the 1980s that model wasn't working anymore, because there was much more full employment. Far more women were being employed in the main economy. So they didn't need this side hustle, as they're called nowadays, or want to organise parties. And if anybody wanted storage and kitchen gadgets, there were plenty of places to buy it where it was cheaper. But this is a picture from Brazil. It's still reused around the world. They have changed. They've got slightly brighter colours now. I thought they were very anemic in that particular advert I showed you. So that it's still going strong there, but the idea that they're waiting for this glorious past to return, I think, is a bit unlikely. Type of direct sales model is not really the way forward.